Hi, it's Helena. Welcome to my channel, or welcome back to my channel. Let me help you promote yourself to the top 1% so that you don't think like the other 99%. Because some people will come over here and say, well, only 1% of the population is like that. Well, guess what? I am the 1%. And so I want to help you become the 1% too. And the one thing that you have to do is think outside the box. So whether you are in corporate or you have your own business, and just so you know, I have both. I work a full-time job and I also have my own business. I have a training and development business. I offer career coaching. I have a great boot camp that I help people build their businesses and their careers from. But I'm also a working mom. And I know what it's like to deal with certain challenges as far as just even sending emails, making sure your emails don't have a certain tone or avoiding conflict to not come across as being difficult. But what you have to do specifically for women is to be very strategic about how you're showing up at work and even with dealing with your clients. But I'm going to talk more about corporate because so many women get stuck usually between that management to getting to director or that director getting to VP. A lot of women aren't really focused on getting to the C-suite role, okay? But definitely to get up higher is to at least be vice president, okay? And so one thing that I know for certain is that you're not making decisions that are going to be seen by people other than just your team. You have to make enterprise-wide decisions. You have to make system-wide decisions. Well, how do I do that? You have to ask your boss. Okay, you have to ask your boss, how can I do what they're doing without them being intimidated? Okay, because usually your boss, especially if they're a director or they're a VP, they're already making system-wide changes. And if, in fact, if they're only getting, you can ask them, hey, what did you get on your last performance review? Did you get a 3? Did you get a 4? Did you get a 5? Did you exceed expectations? You know, if you did, what did you do? And usually they don't even get it. A lot of them meets expectations because the only way to exceed it is to make system-wide changes. Means you need to be more visible outside of your team. And so how do you do that? You have to be known for your perspective and not just your output. People have to know, what do you stand for? It's very hard for me to show up on here because I stand for education. I stand for communication. I stand on being a Black woman. People hate that I identify as a Black woman, yet they identify me as a Black woman from the time I was born. I'm Black before I'm a woman because I have to watch my emails and go over making sure the tone is correct. I have to watch how I show up in the workplace, what I'm looking like, what I'm dressed like. I'll get torn apart not only by people that are not Black, but mainly people that are Black. Scrutinize me more than anybody. Judge me more than anybody. The challenges that we face, especially when you're moving up into leadership or you are a leader and you're feeling stuck even in that role, is you have to be more visible, which is like the worst fear because that means that you're going to be targeted. I get so much hate from just talking about what I believe in, but you have to stand on something that you believe. And I believe in education. I believe in logic, statistics, research, agency, psychology. I believe in the ability to learn how to learn, to be able to be an advocate for yourself, not just to learn some skill to do some basic job. But you have to learn how to be visible in front of the decision makers by standing on something. What are you standing on? What do you believe in? What are your values? Do you value leadership? Do you value excellence? Do you value integrity? Is it shown in every single thing that you do? The reason why you're not getting the opportunities is because you're not standing on anything. I was watching even on my TikTok, people say, I'm just not getting a lot of views. I don't understand why I'm not getting views. Because you're not standing on anything. Well, people only want when you're, half naked or you're talking about relationships or you're talking about this. No, they need you to stand on something because other people are standing on something too, but they need your voice. Because the people are afraid of being visible and you are not getting opportunities because you're not visible. Showing up online, even though I have so many friends and so many people say, don't show up online because it's going to hurt you. You could lose your job. No, I have gotten job opportunities because of showing up online. I got the job that I have now because I showed up online. I said, how did I get the job? They said, oh, we Googled you. The house I got when I was in Houston, it was a townhome. I got the job, the home when I didn't have the credit, didn't have the money, didn't have anything, because I just dang near went through bankruptcy because of the pandemic. And they still let me get the home. And I said, how did I even qualify for this home? And they said, oh, we Googled you. You look like a trustworthy person. The opportunity, the job I got, they said, oh, we Googled you. You look like you know what you're talking about. Showing up online and standing for something, not just trashing people and talking about all this randomness and cursing like a sailor or anything like that. Yeah, that's going to get you flagged. That won't get you opportunities. But showing up, standing on something for people to know what your perspective is. You know how many people share with me that I don't even know that they're graduating from college, that they're graduating from high school? They are excited to share that with me because they know that I value education. What do you value that people will be excited to share it with you? What do you stand on? Stand on something and be more visible. I'm going to end with being more visible because this is mainly about why you're not getting the opportunities. You need to be visible. And what you stand on needs to be known. So I had the audacity, I'm in leadership, and I had the audacity because there were some men, some new Black men that were becoming, they were the managers over some of the sites that I oversee. And so I was like, oh, because most of our meetings are, with VPs and higher. But I was like, oh, no, let me send this calendar invite to have them come and be a part of this meeting because, I want them to know what's going on, and I would love to see them move up into a higher leadership role. So they're on the call, and I'm just sinking. Like, I knew my boss was going to kill me for inviting them into this meeting because they were asking some of the most basic questions. How did you come up with the budget? How did you know how much we're going to spend on staffing salaries? What does EBITDA stand for? This is why I tell you guys to go get your MBAs, because I need you to have basic business knowledge that you can't just learn from running your own t-shirt business. Okay, I need you to know how to have the language that is spoken in the higher levels. They care about shareholders. They care about getting more money poured back into the company. They don't have time to educate you on basic economics and statistics. Oh, so literally when I got off the call, I'm shrinking like this. And my boss calls me immediately, Helena, how did they get the meeting invite? We don't even have a forward on these meeting invites. I said, well, they're the new managers, and I thought that I was shrinking to a little girl. Well, they're managers, and I thought that they should know, what we know, what's going on. And she was like, don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that again. There's a reason that they were not invited. There was a reason they were not invited. Even when I've gone to bat, because I'm really not corporate. I understand corporate. I can run corporate, run circles around it. But I'm not corporate. I still have a heart. I still have a soul. Because even with my boss, we were talking about one of the guys, he wanted to become a director. These are guys and women. I coach everybody, men and women. But I'm seeing it on both ends, okay? And one of the men, he was, his director, he was a manager. His director had just gotten promoted, and his boss. And so he, volunteered and said, hey, I would like to have a small chat with you guys and see, interview for the director role. So me and my boss and one of the guys from finance came in, going through this whole interviewing process. And I was like, okay, sounds like a good fit. Been with the company over 20 plus years. And they were like, okay, well, go ahead and post it on, online so we can get some new candidates. I said, why aren't we considering him for the job? It's like, because he doesn't have a degree, but he has 20 years of experience. They just didn't want him to get the job. It's a Black man. The guys that I brought on the call were Black men. And sometimes I want to advocate for us, but sometimes we're just not qualified for the things that I want us to be in. Sometimes, have you ever felt like you care more about people than they care about themselves? And where I'm at right now, just mentally in a different season of like, I just want to pay it forward and give back. It's like I have to still like help people from just like almost a ground zero level to come up, because you don't know what your competition really knows. You just assume, as long as I have this and I have this, but it's not about you. It's about what other people have, and it's not about who you know. It's about who knows you. And they need to know you know what you're doing, but they also need to know what you stand on, what you believe. Being visible and being able to use the language of decision makers, that's what you're missing, and that's what you need to do. People say, I have this MBA and I can't get a job. I'm stuck in this management position. I'm stuck in this director position, because you don't know how to speak the language of the leadership that is running the company, that is making the money, that is paying your check and your bills. You need to be visible. The right kind of visibility will open up so many doors and opportunities for you. You need a coach. You need a mentor. You need to be in an industry where they already have coaches and mentors for free. For those of you that are like, oh, I don't want to pay for a coach. Do you know how many people have a career coach? How many friends do you know that have a career coach? Hardly none. But every single executive at the company that I work for, and every single one I've ever worked at, have coaches, have an executive coach. You know why? They're at the top, and that coach helped them get there. There's not an athlete that I know or have even heard of that has never had a coach, but for some reason, the job that you're going to have for 50 years, you're going to be working for the next 50 years, you feel like you don't need a coach. So good luck with that, but you do need to be more visible, and you do need to stand on something. So to get the next opportunity that you want, rewatch this video and say, am I showing up, and am I speaking the language that, gets the decision makers' attention? And am I showing up standing for something? What do you stand for? You need to know your top 3 values, and I'll end with that. Okay, I'll talk to you later. Please drop your thoughts and comments right here. Do you feel like, hey, I'm showing up, I'm doing all the right things, but I'm still not getting ahead? Do you understand that there are some things missing that can't be quantified? Is you as a person, what your values are, how you're showing up, the things that you may not know, because sometimes we just don't know what we don't know. Drop it right here. I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.